Why do I sympathize with the Eldians in Marley but not with Annie, Reiner, and Bertholdt? Life for Eldians in Marley was nothing short of hell. They were treated as third-class citizens, stripped of even the most basic human rights. The brainwashing ran so deep that many of them grew to hate their very own bloodline, their own history. We saw how Grisha Jaeger's father, after losing his young daughter to Marleyan soldiers in cold blood, still thanked those very soldiers instead of raising his voice. That's how far the suppression and fear had pushed them. Marley not only destroyed their pride, but also stole their children, molding them into living weapons and sending them to fight against their own kind on Paradise. But the tragedy didn't end with Marley. Their own families added to their suffering. Annie's father pushed her into the warrior program, not because he cared for her dreams, but because he hoped she'd secure him a better social standing. Reiner's mother used him as a means to become an honorary Marleyan, hoping to be with the man she loved. And then there's Zeke. His parents never saw him as just their son. They treated him as a tool to carry their restorationist dream, forcing the weight of their revolution onto a child's shoulders. To save himself from that crushing burden, Zeke betrayed them, only to be swallowed whole by Marley's system in return. These children were pawns, victims of both a tyrannical state and selfish parental ambitions. That's why I can sympathize with them. That's why I don't hate Gabby, because she is the pure product of 100 years of indoctrination and inherited hatred. She is a mirror of Marley's cruelty. But here's where the line is drawn, and why that same sympathy doesn't extend to Annie, Reiner, or Bertholdt. They spent 5 long years living inside Paradise. They weren't outsiders anymore. They saw everything with their own eyes. They witnessed the cost of their own actions. They saw the famine, the hunger, and the fear that gripped humanity after Wall Maria fell. They watched as Wall Rose was overrun, leaving entire families broken and towns reduced to rubble. They knew about the 200,000 people who were sent on a suicidal mission to take back the wall, most of whom never returned. They saw children, barely old enough to hold a blade, forced to join the military when they should have been in classrooms or playing outside. 5 years of eating with them, training with them, laughing with them, living among them, yet they turned a blind eye. They still chose betrayal. They killed their own comrades. They destroyed lives, all to earn Marley's approval or to give their parents a slightly more comfortable existence. That's why Annie, Reiner, and Bertholdt don't deserve the same sympathy. They had the chance to understand, to question, to show compassion. But when it mattered most, they chose to side with cruelty. So what do you think? Do they deserve our sympathy or not? Next, we'll talk about whether Aaron's decision to unleash the rumbling was right or not.